This video is going to be a film study and commentary on the Detroit Lions signing Kendall Fuller, a 30-year-old veteran outside corner, to their practice squad, a guy that I think, based on the film that I've been able to look at from 2023 and 2024, looks like he could contribute to this defense right now in terms of Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., obviously, and now Brian Branch suspended for a game of being out. I don't know if Fuller will be activated for this week's game against the Bucs, who are certainly missing a number of receivers as well, but they've been playing exceptional football on the offensive side. What we'll do here is we'll take a look at Fuller again, who's a 30-year-old corner from the Baltimore area. I do have a little bit of commentary about his background, his family lineage, which is truly amazing if you ask me. If you don't know much about it, he's got 3 other brothers, and all 4 of those guys played in the NFL, 3 at outside corner and 1 at wide receiver. Truly remarkable achievement for one family. I'm going to use some film here from late 2023. In addition, focus on one game from 2024, and there's a specific reason for that. So Fuller has 16 career interceptions. Like I said, he's one of 4 brothers to play in the NFL. He's got a long career. His brother Kyle Fuller, I think, actually led the NFL in interceptions, maybe 2018-19 with the Chicago Bears, and 2 of his other brothers actually have played for the Lions before. Let's get the film started here, and we'll actually begin this against the Bills, Week 3, 2023, a season where he played quite well as an outside corner for Washington. So I think he's matched up here against Davis to the bottom side of the screen. It's a 3rd and 20. I really think this is just Josh Allen taking a shot up the field, trying to possibly get a defensive pass interference call. You can see the receiver to the downside is really giving a really poor fake here, which Fuller doesn't bite for. At least in the film that I have, he's got the ability from a flat-footed position on this, kind of a stutter go, if you will, to turn and then go and keep up with the receiver. This is a great interception, but on a throw that, Josh Allen, again, it's essentially just a glorified punt, if you ask me. Great ball skills from the film that I have seen so far. I will give you the end zone angle of this play. Like I said, it's on a 3rd and 20. He didn't have any interceptions last year while playing for the Dolphins. They only played 11 games, so people can be more than negative if they wish about that, which is one of the reasons why I went back and grabbed a lot of the film from 2024. I'll show you that during the second half of this video. So Allen initially is looking to his right side away from Fuller. Oh, by the way, Fuller generally plays to the field. He normally plays to the wide side of the field. He's not what I would consider a boundary side corner that's like a CD3, who's going to specialize in man, particularly press man. While Fuller is a balanced DB, in my opinion, I don't think that he specializes in press man. Oftentimes, exquisite reactions from an off-coverage alignment. And then once again, like I said, great ball skills, at least from what I've seen. He's got great timing, jumping or leaping, exceptional hands, in my opinion. To be honest with you, the film that I have of him from 2023 and 2024, he's a better corner than Rock Ya-Sin right now. Of course, with Branch being out and other guys not being available, Ya-Sin may end up playing safety. As far as Fuller goes, he had 2 interceptions in 2023. I'll show you both of them. Again, the family lineage there is incredible. 2 of his older brothers played corner in the NFL, Kyle Fuller and then Vincent Fuller. Vincent is 43. He's actually the guy who played for the Lions, I think, 2010, 2011, 2 years in a row with the Lions, but maybe I've got him confused with Corey Fuller, who is his brother, who was a receiver and only played for the Lions 2 years in the NFL. I think he was on that team that had a great defense in 2014, but again, he played receiver and then retired, I think, or didn't get another contract after 2015. His other interception from 2023, again, the ball is on the top side hash. So the hash is up here, and he's to the wide side of the field. This is a 3rd and 7. I think it's Desmond Ridder playing quarterback. So I recognize that people could, absolutely minimize some of the quarterbacks he's going against in this film, which again is the reason why when I get to 2024 stuff, it'll be against Josh Allen. He had 9 tackles in this game against the Falcons. I watched every defensive snap. It was somewhat laborious, to be honest with you. I will say this, his reactions in the film that I've got, the games that I've seen, 2023, maybe he looks a little quicker to me. Maybe he's playing in a different defensive alignment. I just didn't have a whole lot of targets, to be honest with you, against him. But here he is coming in front of the receiver to pick off Ridder. There's a return on the play, but I'm not going to show you to you for obvious reasons. A very versatile, balanced corner. Smart. If you were recruiting him from high school, the billing or the top of the ledger would say he can do it all, meaning he can play press, he can play zone, he can play man, he's got great ball skills, awareness, the communication is high level as well. I like the signing for the Lions at this point in time, if you can't tell. Having to roll out there with Rock Ya-Sin, Trey Flowers, Amik Robertson, someone I think highly of. He's had some rough moments in recent weeks, in my opinion. Fuller can elevate the floor of this group because he can give you a modicum of coverage skills to the field, especially to basically differ or differentiate the presentation to the quarterback from pre-snap to post-snap. Same play from the end zone angle. Obviously, like I said, it's 2023 film. I think it's on week 6. So Fuller sees things. He's got great eyes, in my opinion. I showed you the All-22 already. I think he's got a great ability to see the routes and then trigger on the quarterback, as he starts to pull the pin on the grenade. But that's predicated on him being in off coverage. So that's where you may have a mismatch in the acquisition, to be honest with you, in that Fuller is really good in off coverage, at least in the film that I've got so far. And that's generally not what Kelvin Sheppard is going to ask. Right now, from a coverage standpoint, with DJ Reed out, Rakestraw out, Terrion Arnold presumably out for a while, not only is Brian Branch a safety, but he plays a lot of nickel DB or man in the slot. That's one way we can describe it. That's a lot of coverage talent to be missing. I think Fuller might need to be active this week against the Bucs. If he's healthy, I have no idea what the injury concerns were from late 2024 that limited him to 11 games. So a little bit more from 2023, some PDs, some good coverage. In this case, it's against Garrett Wilson. 3rd and 7, early in the game against the Jets that I think they won 28-27. A little bit of a fade here by Wilson. So he goes to the inside, and again, you'll notice he's to the field and then tries to bring this route back to the bottom side of our screen. But check out Fuller. Again, eyes on the quarterback. He's got confidence and awareness. He can play the receiver, play the route, while keeping eyes on the quarterback. Able to get up and elevate just enough to get a pass defense. I think he had 3 or 4 in this game, to be honest with you. Another one against the Jets. Again, I think he's matched up against Wilson at the bottom side of your screen. It's a 2nd and 10 in the second quarter. So the combination you're going to get, slot is running a deeper out, and then Wilson kind of a Z under. Very similar to some stuff that the Lions have run under John Morton now and previously under Ben Johnson. He's not a boundary side guy, in my opinion. He is good at flat-footed reads, so you can see him kind of catching here against Wilson and then not getting displaced too much, staying connected enough such that when the ball is delivered, it's not in a great location. I think it's Trevor Siemian who is the quarterback here. It's not in a great spot for a big-bodied receiver like Wilson. If his coverage skills, he's got the coverage skills, If the quickness, the ability to get his foot in the ground and break on stuff, if that carries over, then I think he gives you a way to bridge the gap to if and when Terrion Arnold and then DJ Reed can return. I have no idea if he'll be active, but based on the film that I have, I would say that he should. Same game against the Jets. We're into the fourth quarter. I think Washington's up 28-27, but when I get these, I get the full film. I get the full-length film. So I've got to screen record this, first of all, to get it in a usable format, and then second of all, annotate it for you guys such that it'll go through YouTube and it can actually present it in the first place. So it's not Garrett Wilson that he's lined up against, all right? You get a vertical release. He's off coverage. There's like 25, 27 seconds left when this ball is snapped. He's smart. He understands coverage and space. I think he's both patient and then decisive when he needs to be. This is a veteran guy, and he's played a lot of snaps, number one. Number two, I cannot stress enough for you the family lineage and the football background that he has. He went to Good Counsel High School, a private school in the Baltimore, Washington area. It is a factory of professional athletes. One of his brothers went to Mount St. Joe's, which is another factory for professional level athletes, both high-level private skills academically as well. Kyle Fuller, his other brother, who went to Woodlawn High School, which is a high-level public school west of Baltimore in the Baltimore County area. They've been better in recent years. When I grew up, they were not that good at football. But in any case, Kyle Fuller has 19 career interceptions. His oldest brother, Vincent, that played in Detroit, He has 5 career interceptions, 4 of which were returned for touchdowns. I already told you that Kendall Fuller has 16 career interceptions. So just real quick math there, you're talking about 40 interceptions from one family. I think that is truly an incredible achievement. I had no idea on that. I knew who the Fuller family was because Kyle Fuller, his last year in the NFL was 2022 with the Ravens, and in fact, he was playing quite well. Suffered an ACL injury, I think, early in the season, maybe week 2 or week 3. Could have even been as early as week 1, but I'd seen him play in the preseason. In any case, what you're getting in Kendall Fuller is a high-level professional corner who understands the game of football, and he knows how to react. The only question is health and then physical condition. Can he go out there and play 55, 60 snaps a game right now in the style of defense that Kelvin Sheppard typically wants you to execute? No, I don't think so. All right, so let's get a little bit of film going from 2024. Again, he played 11 games for the Dolphins, didn't record a single interception. I think only had 7 PDs. So everything statistically was decreasing for sure. He's 30 years old, so some would say he's, obviously on the downside of his career or maybe even on the way out. Who knows? But I picked this game in particular because, number one, he played well. Number two, it's against the same Buffalo Bills team in Week 9 that came to Detroit 5 games later, I think 6 weeks later because of a bye, but 5 games later and won 48-42. They beat Miami 30-27 here on a last-second field goal in the fourth quarter at home. You'll notice he's a field side corner. The boundary, as always, is marked or delineated by this blue line to the top side of our screen. So he's to the field, the wide side, and the boundary is up here. I think he might be a little bit slow falling off to the sail concept. It's Shakir, the slot receiver for the Bills. He's got a high percent catch ratio over the last couple of seasons. This is Fuller carrying the vertical by Hollins. And in my opinion, Josh Allen is definitely looking to this side. I don't know, what his read here. I just know that I'm able to identify enough from the film, the All-22 and the end zone angle, that Josh Allen, is definitely looking to that side to the field. And Fuller kind of holds off on the vertical, releases that to the safety, definitely stays on top of this route. If Josh Allen was to fire this down here to the 20, probably looking at a completion. Instead, he gets a check down to James Cook, and it's a quick tackle. He wasn't targeted much in this game, but I'm trying to give you as much coverage information as possible. I had a second game that I went over. Again, he was not targeted there much either. Jalen Ramsey, in fact, was targeted more in both situations. So he's up to the top side, and he's really good at this. Off coverage, seeing the quarterback, and then when the quarterback does look to his side, snapping his eyes to the route. Now, Josh Allen actually looks to the other side for a moment, but watch his helmet and his eyes, and then his reaction. So he takes his helmet, looks at Allen, ball snap, looks at the receiver, starts to break downhill right now. He's off of Josh Allen as a read. Now, this is a third down, by the way. He does a great job, in my opinion, of switching to the receiver and then looking to jump something really quick. It never shows up. It's a 3rd and 6. I think he's good at small, little soft skills, intricate things, transitions from pre-snap to post-snap in a way that some of the other corners right now that the Lions have to put on the field, Rock Ya-Sin, Trey Flowers, are not. Against the run, he's not a huge hitter, to be honest with you, especially here later in his career. I don't have any idea about him earlier, during his time in Washington and as well in Kansas City. He's going to get a trigger here by the blocking scheme, the tight end blocking out on the defensive end, which I think is Tyus Bowser, a former Raven, and then the second tight end, basically a C-gap insert up to the inside linebacker. A slicing tackle coming downhill. I don't think he's a super aggressive tackler, but he is willing. Does he fit with the Detroit Lions if you have everyone available from a health standpoint? Well, no. You've got DJ Reed, you got Terrion Arnold, Amik Rakestraw, and this guy at this point in time in his career, Kendall Fuller, it would probably be further down the list. But in my opinion, he offers both a higher ceiling and a higher floor than Rock Ya-Sin, again, if healthy. Switch the field now into the second quarter. And again, the ball is on the right hash for the offense. He's located to the wide side or to the field. It's an inside zone concept, to the right, away from him. And so he's going to come down He'll fit in the gap. Typically, outside corners are assigned to go block the safety and leave the outside wide receivers are assigned to go block the safety and leave the outside corner in run support unblocked. Could he be a little bit faster here, seeing this gap open up? Yes, absolutely. I'm talking about this lane here with the receiver going up to go get the safety to his side. He does eventually fill the lane. It's a really nice job by the left tackle, who I'm not a super big fan of, to be honest with you. I'm talking about Dawkins. But it's a really nice job of him closing off the inside linebacker. Let's get that out of the way. And then now you see the window that Fuller's got to fit in. Still ends up being a huge gain. I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive, to be honest with you. But he is playing a lot of snaps in this game. Overall, not a great tackler in my opinion, but someone that's willing to get involved, albeit on that snap, I think a little bit late. Later on in the second quarter, it's a 1st and 10. Again, the ball is on the right hash for the offense. He's located to the field. Typically, Jalen Ramsey in 2024 was playing the nickel for the Dolphins. Again, eyes into the quarterback pre-snap. And then once the ball is snapped, quickly turns his hips and basically sets up in a man delineation. We're talking about here. Once his eyes are looking into the quarterback and the ball snap, immediately turns. So he's a guy that, if you ask me, has a lot of experience in some of those soft skills, late turn to man, sneaky smart, if you will. He's not targeted, but what I will say is it's matched up against Keon Coleman, by the way, who's snapping his route down. And then look at how he gets his foot in the ground and is able to stay with that receiver, not targeted at all. Again, there's really just not that many targets to show you, but giving you as much coverage information as I can, he does small things from pre-snap to post-snap to try to influence the receiver, or at least give the quarterback/receiver combo a change-up to have to deal with. Ball on the right hash one more time. And he's very quick to break, whether it's an outside break or coming downhill, like I just kind of showed you against Keon Coleman, even though he wasn't targeted. And then here, matched up against, I think it's Mac Hollins, on a deep in-breaking route that would typically be categorized as a dig. Off coverage, obviously, Josh Allen looking down here to the bottom side at Keon Coleman and or the tight end combo. Hollins running a little bit of a dig to the top side into the left hash. Not targeted, like I said, but Fuller is all over it. Don't know that he's a schematic or systemic fit with what the Lions do. To me, if he was available this past week against the Chiefs and healthy, you'd put him on the field because he's a guy that can match up with veteran receivers and veteran quarterbacks in terms of giving them a slightly different look post-snap than they were expecting before the ball was hiked. I do not have many reps of him in the slot here. He's obviously signed man on Khalil Shakir, and it's a screen concept that's well blocked, first of all, by the Bills. The tight end has a free release to get up to him, number one. 2 offensive linemen are also going to be involved in making Shakir have a free lane to run onto. We're talking about right here as the tight end gets out to Kendall Fuller. Not saying that he can't be a slot defender at times, but I don't think Detroit envisions him in that way at all. The one thing I will say is, despite being engaged by the tight end the whole time, perhaps held ever so slightly for a moment, he does actually make the tackle, albeit after a significant gain. In addition to some of the strengths that I think I see, he plays on either side. So what I mean is when the ball is on the right hash, as a field side corner, he's set up to the defense's right or the offense's left. When the ball is on the left hash for the offense, he's set up to the defense's left or the offensive right from their perspective. Third quarter possession, he's actually going to give up a touchdown here, not on this particular play. I think he does a nice job on the second and goal. It's a running back cheat play. So the running back is going to fast release into the flats, quarterback reverse pivot. So you're really threatening the edge with the quarterback and the running back into the flats. In addition, the tight end running a high side corner route that won't really impact Fuller at all. He takes over the flat route, which I think is Ty Johnson. Josh Allen basically just throws it away. Smart corner, guy that puts himself in good position. If you were going to play more zone or matchup coverages, then the Fuller signing would make sense. I don't know that that's what Kelvin Sheppard's going to go to because their system is obviously predicated on mostly man. He'll give up a touchdown here on a route that's across the field. This is a designed route. I believe it's a 3rd and goal, like I said, in the third quarter against the Bills, a game that they lose 30 to 27, excuse me. So Shakir's going to go in motion and then return to the bottom side of our screen, the right-hand side of the offense. And there's a lot of congestion here. So this safety is going with Shakir as if he was to motion all the way to the other side of the field. Shakir will return back, and that really puts conflict on that safety and Kendall Fuller, and that they actually kind of bump into each other right here, and that slows up Fuller in trying to chase Hollins across the field. Designed play for Josh Allen to fake it to Shakir out in the flats, and then turn and throw to Hollins wide open, a win against Fuller, quite obviously. It's a really nicely designed play, in my opinion. Did it target him? Of course. It's the guy who he was guarding. I think that this is the type of coverage the Lions actually might play more of. So perhaps that would give some Lions fans pause in him being inserted into this defense quickly. I will say this. It's one of the few times where I've seen him beat across the field. And it took some horizontal conflict, a little bit of a design feature. It's actually fourth down there. I said it was third, so my apologies for that. It took a little bit of a design feature to get that done. I have not seen him get beat like that across the field. Two more plays here, both from inside the 10-yard line, and I think they kind of reflect well on Kendall Fuller. 2nd and 7, it's actually not 2nd and goal, 2nd and 7 from the 8, and it makes the Bills are trying to make this look like the C-gap insert run play, where the outside tight end steps out to the edge defender or defensive end, and the inside tight end inserts to lead block on a downhill run concept. It's actually play action pass. Josh Allen kind of ducking on it. A little bit of a juvenile fake, but in any case, he's man on the tight end, and that's exactly where Josh Allen is looking. There's enough contact here that he's at least being somewhat physical. Maybe a perfect throw here gets the job done. But in my opinion, you're looking at a guy who's reliable in coverage. Very few targets to show you this was one of them. The next one, I think Josh Allen sees a flag on the field. It's actually not called on Kendall Fuller, to be honest with you, but notice with the ball on the left hash, again, he's located to the field. It's a 3rd and 7. It'll end up being a DPI on the defender assigned to deal with Khalil Shakir. I'm not exactly sure who it is, but Kendall Fuller is guarding Keon Coleman, who's going to bring his route into the right hash. And then as Josh Allen scrambles out of there a little bit, Fuller is going to stick to his man in an attached fashion and actually gets a PD that it really doesn't count because it's a defensive pass interference on his teammate. Let me rewind this a little bit. I don't have the end zone angle for this one, so you kind of lose some perspective of it. But he's actually the inside defender here that's making a play on the ball, or at least knocking it out of the defender's hands. Essentially a jump ball with Keon Coleman. Ultimately, I can't give conclusive statements because I have no idea about the overall health and readiness of Kendall Fuller. I don't know what he's been doing. Certainly, it sounds like he wasn't in camp with anyone, didn't get released or get cut. I will say that he's played high-level football for a number of years, number one. Number two, knows how to prepare for an NFL season. You would presume that he's kept himself in shape. I don't know that to be true at all. And I have no idea what kind of statements Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, or even Kelvin Sheppard have said so far. What I do know is this. The Fuller family is a football family, number one. Number two of his brothers played in the Detroit Lions organization already. I don't think that is random, meaning I think the Lions know what they're getting from the film. Certainly they would have seen the film of that Bills game against the Dolphins last year because the Lions played the same Buffalo Bills team 5 or 6 weeks later, actually, I should say, in that 48-42 loss at home. I like the signing, in case you can't tell. Do I think he's going to end up being a full-time starter for this team? No. My prognosis or my prediction would be short-term, a guy who can play 30, 32, maybe 35 snaps a game, mostly in coverage situations. But how does that work? How does Kelvin Sheppard predict that? A team could throw on 1st and 10, obviously. Clear and direct passing downs, in my opinion. Kendall Fuller right now offers better coverage skills, a wider umbrella than Rock Ya-Sin and Trey Flowers do. When I go look at the Detroit Lions roster right now, their depth chart, leading up to the game against the Bucs on Monday, which I'll be able to cover and do a reaction video. So I'm really looking forward to that, number one. I think Kendall Fuller is a guy that they could elevate from the practice squad. I don't know other roster considerations that they will have. Certainly Taylor Decker's availability is an issue. Brian Branch's suspension as well. I would suspect that with Amik being healthy and certainly reliable, Kendall Fuller could fill in and be an option as an outside corner, with Rock Ya-Sin possibly shifting to safety. You're more than welcome to let me know what you think of that idea as a possibility for how Detroit tries to handle this very unique situation, obviously, against a Bucs team that is rolling coming into Detroit, number one. Number two, let me know what you think of the plays that I presented. If you think I was accurate in describing what looks like a high-level corner, basing it off of mid to late season 2023 film, and then late season film or mid-season film, against the Bills last year in Week 9. Finally, if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study look at Kendall Fuller, who was only signed to the practice squad, may not be elevated anyway, but if you think other Lions fans would enjoy it nonetheless, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.